What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 25 and Judith Claims. We didn't get an opportunity to live stream on Monday. Giants went and dropped a map on us. A 4X map at that. A really nice map. Canadian map, 4X. Oddly enough, it had no pre-designed farms, but plenty of areas for you to build your own. Excellent for multiplayer. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. We've got a poll up today. We need you to vote. What should we do with our corn? We're going to be harvesting corn today. I've got a bunch of dried corn from last year. I've got a bunch of barley from last harvest. And I've got a bunch of sorghum from harvest. Well, we can either make whiskey or we can make ethanol. So I want to know what we want to do. Shall we make whiskey? That's the prevailing answer right now. Or do we have enough swing votes to shift it over to ethanol? David, thank you for being a Farm Baron. 21-month member. 3 more months. Your 2-year anniversary. What's up, Delilah? How's it going? I was saying in the pre-show, Giants is definitely back from FarmCon. Mods have been dropping with pretty good regularity this week. Pretty good numbers as well. And I was also mentioning that not only did they drop videos about FarmCon over on the main channel, the Farm Sim channel, they dropped some videos over on the Community Corner channel. Those are maybe some less popular videos. One related to capturing background sounds for the game, and then another video they released was related to a Jeopardy game that they ran between 2 German-speaking content creators, and each creator was allowed to pick 2 partners from the audience, and they basically played Jeopardy with some damn difficult questions. I mean, those questions were rough. What's up, Farmer G? I told you were invisible. When I hit something, I said, "What'd I hit?" You said, "You hit me." I'm like, "Well, I didn't see you." Thank you for being a Farm Baron for 35 months. Farm King now, thank you. Speaking of Farm Barons and Farm Kings, this video is brought to you by Doughboy2913 and Coutier Farms. Thank you for being Farm Barons. Those Amazon delivery drivers, they'll park anywhere. I had a couple park right outside my driveway the other week. They were like moving packages between people. It's like, what are you doing? People live here. Go find an empty parking lot somewhere. All right, let's get on with our corn. I'm gonna leave the poll up until 9 o'clock. So everybody, we have 1 hour to decide what we are doing with our corn. Are we gonna make whiskey, or are we gonna make ethanol? We have everything we need to make both. Where whiskey? We have barley in stock. We have corn. We're harvesting. We have dry corn in stock. to make our whiskey. Or we have corn, dry corn. We have sorghum in stock. We can make ethanol. You want to see the prices? What do we get for it? Whiskey. Starts with a W and ends with a ski. Well, we have a high of 23.36, although a 19.41 per thousand. Ethanol is 41.41 or 25.20. We use 12 dry corn, 3 corn per cycle, 12 dry corn, 6 or 12 corn, 6 dry corns per cycle. So I think we get more ethanol for our corn and dry corn than we do our whiskey. Maybe that'll play into your decision. Well, we're just going to ignore that because I don't like those lines. Well, so far, whiskey has got the quite a big lead, 70 to 30%. What's up, BJ Griggan? Everyone does ethanol. Does nobody want to be original? Does everyone just want to go with the crowd? Well, I thought we'd play Choose Your Own Adventure. At least that's what I put in the thumbnail. Anybody remember those Choose Your Own Adventure books? I mean, Tuki may still read those books, for all we know. Growing up, we had a Laserdisc player, and if you don't know what a Laserdisc player, it was just imagine like a giant 12-inch compact disc. It's probably more like 16-inch, two-sided compact disc that had a movie on it, and inevitably about halfway through the movie, you'd have to get up and flip the disc over. It was really great. It offered a higher resolution than VCR tapes of the era. Definitely better than Betamax of the era. A format that didn't really last too long, probably because of one, the ginormous size of the disc, and two, the fact that you had to get around up and turn it over. But at any rate, they had Choose Your Own Adventure movies, where you could, just like a CD, jump to different segments of the disc. So you might be watching it and it might be like, you know, do you do this or this? And if you do one thing, then you jump to a certain track on the disc. And if you don't, then you go to some other track on the disc to basically see your outcome. So we had that growing up, and that's back when rental places were hopping, right? You were a popular guy if you worked at a video store. And we'd get my mom to take me to the video store, and we'd rent a choose your own adventure movie. But that's the idea. That's the premise of today. We're going to do one or the other, and I'm going to let you all pick what we do. But like I said right now, 29 votes. Whiskey's pretty prevalent, 72% versus 28 of ethanol. If anything has told me, with all the polls I've ever done on YouTube, whatever's winning after like 15 minutes is probably what's going to win at the end of the day. I mean, the format worked great for those because it was a disc, right? Just like the compact disc, you could jump to an exact track as opposed to a tape where you had to fast forward. And am I there yet? Am I there yet? Up, I went too far, back up, right? There's just so much effort, you might as well just listen to the whole thing. With a VHS tape, right, the same thing, you had to fast forward. But just flipping the disc over, that was an annoyance. Okay, we got that. We're almost done. So, since we were last together a week ago now, I finished seeding all of our harvested fields with barley. So we have barley in 26, 23, 11, 10, 3, and 2. I went through and limed all of those fields to get them up on their lime need. I also ran through here with fertilizer spreader and got them all up on their nitrogen levels. Then also ran over with the herbicide and spot sprayed a couple of the fields. Oddly enough, not every field had weed growth. So fields 26, 23, no weed growth. Only weeds grew in 13, 11, 10, 3, and 2. Which is interesting because we prepared them all the same. We no-tilled, seeded all of these. Find it odd that those didn't have any weed growth and these did. And then this field actually had the whole outside perimeter didn't have weed growth. I don't know. I didn't really question it too much. I just thought it was a little bit weird. So we have gotten everything caught up. We won't need to touch any of the barley fields until harvest next summer. Steven, yes, it's called Universal Auto Load, and it is out on the main Giants mod hub. I was using it just earlier. We got a couple pallets right here we can pick up. So this is an in-game base game truck, right? Universal Auto works with any flatbed thing in game. Presto, there you go. We'll just leave our truck in here for now. So like I said, it's called Universal Autoload. It's over in the main Giants mod hub. It's just a base game truck. It's just this truck with the sides down. Right? I use base game stuff so much. Lots of people ignore all the base game stuff, so when I do use it, they're like, oh, what's that? And then they realize it's base game, and I don't know if they just lose interest or what. But, yeah. There is a modded version on the mod hub. I think it gives you some more options as well. I think it gives you some better hitch options. I think that mod just got updated, actually. So, Universal Autoload, does it do this? Yeah. Right, it works with all of these base game trailers. Works with logs. And can easily be added to other flatbed trailers. It may work with other modded flatbed trailers. I don't know, because I really don't use that many mods. Yeah, Netflix was an interesting beast back in the day, right? Because you would rent the DVD, or you could rent like 4 or 5 DVDs at once, and then keep them for as long as you wanted, and then return them via mail with an auto postage envelope. And then once they received your DVDs back, they would ship you the next ones in your list. Right, so you just make a list of, I want to watch these movies. You might pay for the 5 discs at once plan, or the 3 discs at once. Right, and you just do that. But if you wanted to keep a movie for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's fine. You just wouldn't get anything else because they were, you were holding on to the disc. Gamefly was the Netflix of video games. How many of y'all knew of Gamefly or ever used Gamefly? It was basically the Netflix model, but for computer games, console games. You could rent a game, keep it as long as you wanted, and then when you were done with it, you'd ship it back. Gamefly also allowed you to buy it if you wanted. So you'd rent the game, and maybe you decided after you played it for 10, 15 hours, you liked it. You wanted to keep it. They give you the option of buying the disc that you had. And I think if you did that, they would mail you like the retail packaging. I think I've seen ads that Gamefly is still around. And then slowly Netflix shifted over to the streaming platform, and I think they've subsequently killed off all the discs. Steven, I don't know what you mean by unlimited power. I think I know what you mean, and I think that would be something different. So there are, and I don't use the mod, so I don't keep up with it. But there was a mod in 22 that I would call not auto load, but I called auto fill, because it would load product into a simulated pallet or simulated crate on the trailer. And then when you got your destination, you could unload the pallet and it would spawn regular pallets on the ground. And I call that an auto fill as opposed to auto load. And the main distinction I had with that was auto load physically takes the pallet on the ground, puts it on the trailer, and puts the weight physics on the trailer. Same with the bale, same with the log. It physically moves the thing from the ground to the trailer. An auto fill mod takes the fill type from the pallet and puts it in a simulated pallet on the truck or trailer, but often it doesn't have the physics, so it doesn't have the weight, and it looks different. And then when you get to your destination, you can unload, empty the artificial pallet onto the ground, and basically the game spawns a real pallet on the ground. So autofill is basically what would be console compatible, whereas auto load was really never console compatible because it requires a script. Steven, I don't know about the sawmill. I really don't use too many production mods. And I definitely don't do any forestry. I hung my forestry up a long time ago. Redbox was an interesting deal, right? Redbox was the rental store in kiosk form. I had a guy that worked for me for a while that used to be a Redbox tech, and he had a circuit. Like, he had a list of Redbox kiosks he had to service. They would ship him movies, and they would basically say, you need to go and like swap these movies out and put these other movies in to these kiosks. And with Redbox, you could rent a movie from one and return it to another, right? If I'm remembering right. So I think part of his job was also like restocking the kiosk with movies that didn't come back. It's BJ, it's just me. I like to call what's auto load on console auto fill, because for me it's not really loading anything, it's just moving a fill type from one place to the next. Whereas the distinction with the PC auto load is it's physically moving the pallet from ground or the log or bale from ground to trailer, and then it's moving the physics to the trailer. And as such, right, you don't get extra capacity. You can haul as many pallets as you can fit on a trailer, but you're still limited by the size of the trailer or by the height that you can stack it before the physics get so crazy that it's unmanageable. Whereas what I call the autofill mods, it's just you pull up to a pallet and you hit R, and it basically unloads the pallet or loads the pallet into the vehicle. And then you have whatever 1,000 liters worth of product in a simulated pallet, a simulated crate, a simulated bale representation, but you don't get the physics. Or you can still drive like a crazy bat out of hell and you won't tip over because your load's top heavy, right? What's up, Farm Sim, with me, with you, with everyone? They're still around, a few, yeah. There's one at a local grocery store that I go to. I mean, when our kids were younger, we would use them. We no longer have TVs in the house. We no longer have Blu-ray or DVD players in the house, so we're almost a bit more of a curiosity these days than anything else. We're also streaming tonight. We're celebrating 54,000 subs. Slowly but surely, we're climbing the sub counter. Hopefully we'll reach 55 before the release of Highlands Fishing. I don't think we'll hit 55 before I go to Sim Gaming Expo. That's the first weekend in September. Oh, back up, back up, back up. So, yeah, I mean, I get a little particular about terminology of things. That's just me. At the end of the day, do they let you move a product without having to use a forklift? Yes. Do they make your life easier? Yes. So here is universal auto load, right? Doo-dah, doo-dah. We'll put that in there. So this is a really cool mod from Loki. It's PC only because it's highly scripted, but you get all sorts of UI elements to manage how things get loaded. It's going to work with all tons of base game flatbed trailers or vehicles, and can easily be added if you have skill set to add to modded trailers and such. And as you see, right, we can auto load anything. We can mix and match, right? we just search auto load. I don't keep up with anything outside of universal auto load. What is this? Yeah, this would be the, I guess, equivalent, console equivalent, right? But see, we're moving egg pallets into simulated crates. It still gets the job done, but you're not actually moving pallets to here. You're moving the fill type to here. Semantics, I know, but like these aren't pallets of fertilizer. They're simulated pallets of fertilizer. Whereas autoload is physically moving these pallets to here and then physically moving them from here to the ground. But it serves a purpose. It gets the job done both ways. There's really yet to be a autoload trailer for console, because again, it's moving a fill type as opposed to moving the legit thing. But universal autoload moves everything for PC. So let's talk a little bit about Sim Gaming Expo. I'll be attending Sim Gaming Expo the first weekend in September. I think it's September 5th through 7th. It's in the Chicago area, the greater Chicago area. It's held at a convention center. Find out more information by going to simgameexpo.com. You can save 10% off tickets by using the code early 10. It's shockingly hard to type and say the word at the same time. If you're into simulation-based gaming, and the fact that you're watching Farm Sim probably implies that this is a genre that interests you, then it may be an expo worth checking out. It's the first annual Sim Gaming Expo. That's why you may be thinking, why have I never heard of it before? Because there's never been one before. If you're into any sort of driving game, racing sim, train sim, flight sim, or other sim-based gameplay, again, Sim Gaming Expo, there's going to be tons of special guests there, content creators, people who are well known in the sim racing genre. Lots of vendors are going to be there. There might be a particular farm sim company there. Might. I haven't announced anything officially yet, so I don't want to go out on a limb and say they're definitely going to be there. But you could probably count on them being there, given the fact that Project Motor Racing, a game that they are publishing, is going to be releasing in November. Why not attend Sim Gaming Expo right there in your backyard in Chicago, given the fact that we do have a Chicago office. Now, I said I was going to wait until top of the hour to decide what we are going to do. But whiskey has led ever since this poll went up. 64 to 36%. We're going to call it. We're going to call it right now. We're making whiskey, folks. Thank you for contributing to the Choose Your Own Adventure Day. Let me go take a load of corn up there. We'll take a load of dry corn and a load of barley up there. I'll contract out with the city to plumb water into the plant. Oh my gosh. That way we don't have to worry about transporting water. BJ, it definitely takes practice. It's like moving bales around. That definitely takes practice. I need to talk with the guy who's organizing Sim Gaming Expo and see if we can do a bale stacking contest one day. That would be fun. Yeah, and that's on Sony and or Microsoft, right? I don't know if it's one or the other or both, but it's definitely where the restrictions are. I mean, it is their platform. They can do what they want, and I understand their logic. Because their logic is there to, they want to provide the best gaming experience for their players. And as such, they don't want scripts to interfere with that. Because they figure if you have a bad gaming experience on their platform, you might go to some other platform next time. And they don't make any money on the console. They make all their money on games. So if you're not on their platform, then you're not buying their games, then they're not making any money. Although, interestingly, Xbox may be getting out of the hardware market to focus exclusively on games. The next Xbox may simply be a third-party device by a licensed or authorized manufacturer, not a first-party thing. Okay, easy dev controls. Do. Fill my production with water. Did it work? Did it work? Whiskey in a jar. Where are you at? It worked. Good. Okay. What's up, GTX? How you doing, man? How's the weather down under? Is it cooling down yet? Because if you haven't followed it, there's talk of an Xbox handheld that's simply going to be a licensed ROG Ally from Asus. It's going to have a little different body to it, a little different shell. It's going to be running a Xbox version of Windows. Basically running the same hardware as the updated Ally X. So it'll be the Xbox X Ally X handheld. What's up, Scooter? How are you doing? Interior buildings would be nice. It's a shame that a lot of our farmhouses are just triggers outside. Did you hear? Did you hear that that was actually a marketing point, a bullet point on the Highlands fishing slide? That the farmhouse had an interior and that you could go inside. Is Giants finally figuring out what people want? They want to go inside a house. I mean, we had the ability to go inside a farmhouse in Farm Sim 19. And then we regressed in 22 to just having things outside the window. We don't like regression. We like progression. Who throws dirt on Scooter? Yeah, it seems like Xbox, pretty much all Xbox titles have are available on PC. Same day they're available on the console, but then they're also finding their way over to PlayStation. Like, look, we're not the big baddie. We let you PlayStation folks play our titles. Sony's the big baddie that doesn't want to share their titles with anybody. Or Nintendo's the ultimate baddie. Have you heard about them bricking people's Switch 2s because they suspected the person was pirating copies of Nintendo games? Suspecting. I suspect you're doing piracy, so I'm gonna brick the hardware that you have, such that you can never use it online again. That's a great way to win customers over and maintain customer loyalty. Bricking the things that they spent their money on. What's up, Farm Sim from the north? Did you check out that Canadian map? What'd you think? What'd you think? We took one load of corn up there. Dry corn. We need twice as much regular corn as dry corn, and half as much barley as dry corn. Okay. So all the corn I harvest is going to go up to whiskey. Then we'll figure out how much dry corn we need to take out of our silo to do that. How much barley we need to take. Yeah, there's a story going around about a guy. There's some sort of cartridge you can buy that allows you to dump ROMs from a legit Nintendo game card to it for backup purposes. You bought it. You have the right to back up the digital media you purchased. That's an established fact. So you can buy this cartridge and back up your games to it, and then you have one cartridge to rule them all. You don't have to carry around all the little game cards to lose them, so you have to go buy them again because you lost the dumb thing. So you can put them on a nice shelf, right? You got them. You have physical copies. You can prove you have physical copies. You have the legal right to back up your physical copies. Well, if Nintendo has the capability of detecting that you are using said cartridge, then they're like, you're pirating. I'm bricking your machine. No recourse. Your game is now, it's bricked. You can't play online anymore. And so many of these titles have online elements or online requirements. Too flat and plain. That's fine. That's fine. I get you. Yeah. It is. Well, it's just under trucks. It's the CV series. There is also this. Which is a modded variant of that truck. Gives you some more bed options and everything. I think it also lets you attach various things to it. So this may be a better variation of that truck. Worth checking out. You have to have universal autoload also installed. So what universal autoload does is it adds autoload to several things. So the universal autoload mod adds autoload capability to all of this. But all of these are base game vehicles and trailers. You don't have to have a autoload version of this truck. It just makes this truck autoload capable. From the shop, you go here, you configure it, and you say, You go to auto load, right? And you say, do you want auto load or not? Yes, I do. I want a bale trailer, log trailer, right? What kind of auto load do I want? Where do I want to auto load from? How do I want to auto loads? How do I want to do it? How do I want to do it, right? No, that's PC only. The PlayStation equivalent was, I put in chat. Where is it? Here's probably the best equivalent for PlayStation. It's what I classify as autofill. Gets the job done. So our goal here isn't to sell anything, but I do want to talk about our partnership with Apex Gaming Computers, since we do need to do an ad for this month. Apex Gaming Computers, there's a link down in the chat. We have 3 configurations: the Yeoman, Homesteader, or Rancher. These are custom configurations for the channel. And for example, we have right now 5% off with the code SBE. Homesteader comes with a Ryzen 7600X CPU, 240mm AIO liquid cooler on that, 16 gigs of DDR5 memory, RTX 5070 GPU, 1TB NVMe Gen 4 drive, 750 watt power supply, so you got plenty of power for your needs today, and plenty of upgrade room as far as power goes for the future. Comes with Wi-Fi, has Bluetooth, Windows 11. You can also go with the Rancher, get a 9600X 5080 GPU, 1200 watt power supply, definitely set for the future there. If none of those configurations strike your fancy, you can come up here to gaming PCs, custom gaming PCs, and then there's a whole plethora of options here, AMD and Intel, to take a look at. Again, if you use my link down in the description, you do save, I think, 3% off, maybe 5% off. Plus, we have the 5% off code SBE. Apex Gaming Computers. I do have a Discord, Whiskey Creek Explanation Discord. We'll get the bot to put the link up. We also have a secondary gaming channel where we do other games on the weekend, like Roadcraft, Baldur's Gate 3 on Saturdays, and Sunday night American Truck Simulator. Explanation FK's Funhouse, FK Funhouse, for a link to that as well. Like I said, Friday night we do Roadcraft. We used to do Wreckfest on Fridays, but that got a little old. I think we're waiting for Wreckfest 2 to mature a little bit before we jump into that. When Project Motor Racing does release on November 24th, I believe, then we'll be adding Project Motor Racing to our secondary channel. If you're interested to maybe getting into some sim racing. Once that releases, you'll definitely want to be over on the Discord to get that info. Now there's another map that I know is coming out soon, hopefully for all platforms. It's currently going through the iteration of Giants testing. It's got some new crops and V-Titch Rye. I think we've seen that in another map recently. I didn't really know what the deal with that rye was, but I do now, because in this map that I've been talking about, it's going to be an American map based in Ohio. It's got V-Titch Rye, V-Sitch, whatever, however you say it. Whatever. It's a cover crop. And if you play with precision farming, you'll get the cover crop subsidy bonus if you plant it just like you would if you did oilseed radish. I think that might be the first map where we've seen extra cover crops that give you a subsidy bonus. Well, Michelle Farms, then, I mean, there's plenty of things out there that aren't shooter-based. If you're into farm sim, you may like other sim-based things like Roadcraft, where you have to well, improve the environment, right? You put on a map. You've got to navigate difficult roads, difficult terrain to deliver loads and deliver things to places. But as an added benefit, as you do that, you improve the environment. You also have the capability of building roads, roadcraft, right? So you can enhance the environment, make getting around a lot easier by dumping sand where roads are wet or muddy, put pavement down. I had a long-running series on SnowRunner several years back. SnowRunner is still fairly popular. It's got tons of DLC, thousands of hours of potential road of SnowRunner content is there. That might be worth checking out. Can be a little frustrating at times in how difficult it is to get around, but oddly, it's satisfying when you do complete a delivery to the point where you're like, oh, let me do just one more. And then it's 3 a.m. and you've been doing one more for 4 hours. And every time you do one more, you just want to do one more. So that's when you know a game is addictive. When all you want to do is just try to do another one. We have, there's strategy games that are not necessarily first-person shooters. There are kind of like my kid recently got, and I didn't think he'd like it, he recently got Total War 3. He claims he loves it. That's kind of a strategy, real-time strategy game. They're shooting, but I don't think you're doing the shooting. You like manage an army or units that go out and attack, and you get attacked. So you've got to build an army. There's city builders, City Skylines 2. There are other city builders out there. We've done a few city builders in the channel in the past. I'm terrible with names. Let me look at Steam. Get the name of one I really liked recently. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Wreckfest is an absolute blast. Frostpunk is an interesting city builder that's real dark. It's got a very dark story. You have your action titles like not really your platformers, but you have your action titles like oh, hold on. Oh no, I want to see it. Like Tomb Raider, right? Tomb Raider is kind of like a story-based action title, exploration, puzzle a little bit. Why am I not seeing that city builder that I did a lot of recently? Recently as in like the last 6 months. Memeropolis, that was a nice one. Manor Lords, that's it. Manor Lords. That's an excellent title worth checking out. You can check out my gameplay over on the secondary channel. To check that out, we also did some Memeropolis over on the secondary channel. Medieval Dynasty is kind of interesting. It's kind of survival crafting, but you can do other things like farming and such. Right, Roadcraft we talked about. I never got into the Civs, but you know, you got Civilization. Those are kind of strategy game. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. Tomb Raider. Wreckfest is fun, definitely multiplayer. Frostpunk, like I said, it's been out for quite a long time. You can probably get it on sale pretty good. It's real dark though. Like, you gotta make some tough decisions. City Skylines 2. Baldur's Gate 3, it's hard to go wrong with that one. ETS, if you like just driving titles. Just head out on the roads and just drive trucks and deliver loads. Age of Empires, it's hard to go wrong there. Strategy game, RTS. Steam is excellent. They have fabulous return policies. Epic is outstanding because you get a free game every week. At least one free game every week. I probably have close to 500 games in my Epic library. I've paid for one. I bought one Epic game that is SnowRunner, and I have like 500 other titles. Michelle, that might be one way to explore games, is to get an Epic account, Epic Games, and every Thursday they release a free game, and the free game this week is Civ 6 or Civ 7. Doo-doo-doo. Let's looky here. Looky-loo. So, epicgames.com, right? Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Today, until tomorrow morning, you can get these two titles free. This one's supposedly $25 value. I don't know what the heck it is. It's free. It doesn't matter. I'm a collector of free. Yeah, sure. Skyrocket. That's free. Civ 6. Civ 6 Platinum Edition. That's going to be free. An $80 title. Free. Free to you. Free to me. Free forever. For this game. 6 DLCs. 2 expansions. Holy shit. Seriously. Get this for free. Play it. If you don't like it, fine. Doesn't matter. You didn't spend any money on it. And you made Epic use all their money to buy you something you never use again. But at any rate, all you gotta do is go to Epic, add this to your library, starting tomorrow till next Thursday. It's free forever. If you don't play it for another 7 months, fine. Just go and download it and start playing it. I got over 500 free games in my library from Epic. Definitely worth checking out. Another great place to go is GOG, Good Old Games. No, we don't need to log in right now. Good Old Games. Typically, they have some older titles, but they guarantee they will run on current hardware. Guarantee. In fact, they will keep it up so that things will continue to run. They've got an excellent game preservation program. So GOG's game preservation program to keep these old games around so you can continue to play them on modern hardware. Every GOG title is DRM free. You get the installer. You can download the installer. You can keep the installer. If GOG goes away, you still have the installer. Tuki was talking about Neverwinter Nights 2, $30, released over here on GOG. Like I said, DRM free. DRM free. No activation, no online connection required. How many games can you say are like that these days? Right? So this is a re-release of an old title. Oh, shoot. But still. Those are the 3 major online store platforms I would go to as a PC player. Or someone who's maybe new to PC, thinking about getting into PC gaming. The only real 3 you need is Steam, Epic, and GOG. But Steam is the 7,000-pound gorilla. Epic. If you're an Amazon subscriber, Amazon Prime, raise your hand if you are Amazon Prime. Did you know that every month Amazon Prime subscribers can get a boat load, literal load of a boat of free games via your Amazon subscription, Amazon Prime subscription, right? So they have Amazon games. That doesn't count. Amazon Prime Gaming. Hello. So if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, right now, today, you can get Marvel Midnight Suns for free on Epic, Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces. It's an older title, free on GOG. This, whatever this name is, on Epic. Tomb Raider 1 through 3, remastered. These are the original 3 Tomb Raiders, brought back to life, again on GOG. Saints Row 4, GOG. Star Wars Rebellion, GOG. Toem, GOG. Saints Row 2, GOG. Did I mention all these are free with your Prime subscription? Dungeon of Endless Definitive Edition. This is available on Prime Gaming, Epic Games, GOG. Yeah. It just keeps going. Just keeps going. And these update every couple weeks. You can play World War Z. You can play Death Stranding free through Amazon Luna, which is kind of their cloud gaming platform. Again, free to Amazon Prime subscribers. No, we're not talking about that. Hollow Knight, that's fun. Fallout 4 New Vegas. I got a ton of games in Amazon Prime. I've got a ton of games from GOG through this, Epic through this. If you are Amazon Prime subscriber, definitely check out Amazon Prime Gaming for free stuff. Who doesn't like free? I don't play Fortnite, no. My child doesn't play Fortnite anymore. He's grown up. Thankfully. But yeah, if you like it, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, that's where Epic got all their money from. Epic got all their money from Fortnite and Unreal Engine licensing, because Epic is the company that made Unreal Engine and makes Unreal Engine. So they have tons of money to throw away on freebies. You can't imagine. Yeah, you can. I can't even imagine how much money they've... I mean, they keep bringing it in. And it's not like Fortnite's going away. Their loot boxes, their skin packs, whatever. I mean, there's a I don't even, what's that genre called? I don't even know what that genre is called, but I feel like they've defined that genre. PvP, whatever, Battle Royale, that it? Like, I feel like there's been Battle Royale games before then. But, I don't know what just resonated. with people with that it just took off like crazy. Live service games. They have no single player aspect to them whatsoever. Yeah, I do think that Epic does good things with Unreal Engine with respect to getting people into it, right? Unity and other game engines, there's a pretty big cost factor that even fledgling game developers have to pay and have to figure out how they're going to, you know, pay the bills and keep the lights on because they got to license the game engine. But Unreal, you can use it for free until you sell and make your first $1 million. And after you earn your first $1 million, then you move into like a percentage licensing model. And, you know, at that point, right, you're hopefully getting some pretty good revenue. You can afford to give back a bit to Epic. But it also means if you are wanting to just download Unreal Engine just to play around with it, you can probably take some classes online or just watch videos on YouTube about Unreal Engine. You could do your own little thing. Build your own little stuff with it just to have fun. Schools can use Unreal Engine in their curriculum because it's a no cost. And then their students can graduate with legit game experience, legit game engine development experience. It's the, do we go as far as to say it's the crack dealer model? It's free. Here's your sample. And you don't have to pay me anything until you're addicted to it. And then I'll come back and I'll ask you for some money. Well, Mr. Dio, the bot does have standards. The bot does have some standards. We don't advertise we're family friendly, but we try to maintain some level of decorum here. Okay, corn is done, son. Let's see if we have 3 full loads or not. Farmer G gives great advice. Read before you authorize things. Know when you're signing up for a free 30-day trial that if you don't cancel within 30 days, something might bill you. Set a calendar reminder for 25 days into your 30-day free trial. That way you can decide 25 days in, am I keeping this or am I ditching it? Then you have 5 days to figure out how to ditch it because they probably made it hard to unsign up. It's a game that I would say would cause more stress than it relieves. It's the shoot or be shot game. Right? It's where people camp up and just snipe you, and then you're like, where are you killing me from? Exactly, Ravenhawk. Like, any multiplayer game is just important that you don't use public lobbies. Right? Public lobbies are sometimes not the best lobbies. Oftentimes not the best lobbies. But if you can get a nice crew together that's your own, everybody knows each other, everybody just wants to have a nice, fun, relaxing evening. That's what Roadcraft is. That's what BG3 is for us on Saturday. It's definitely what American Truck Sim is on Sunday. We have folks in the Discord that run their own farm sim servers and have their own crew. They met online. They met through the Discord. They met in chat. Yeah, BJ. So like my kid, he started playing Fortnite on Nintendo Switch. Because we got him a Switch when he was probably like 6. And it was like, okay, yeah, all right. Well, then I got him a laptop. So now he's into PC gaming. And we discovered that I couldn't transfer his Fortnite account off the Switch because when we signed up for Fortnite, or when we signed up the Switch the first time, one of the two, we used my wife's work email at the time. Bad decision. Always. Never use work email for anything not work related. Any rate, we used her work email was used. She doesn't work there anymore. Well, we have no access to that email, and I can't transfer or link his account to Epic from Nintendo because I don't have access to that flippin' email account. So, any and all basically paid things is now locked to the Switch. So, goodbye. It was fun while it lasted. So yeah, Michelle, every Thursday they have a new free title. Sometimes they have 2 new free titles. Over Christmas, it's like the 25 days of free games from Epic. Every day they have a new free title. In the Discord, in the announcements channel, there's a bot that will post whatever the new free Epic title is. I'm just a collector of free. On this, we use a 4070 Ti Super Duper. Steven, thanks for dropping by. Glad you could hang out for a little bit. Hope you enjoy that auto load pack for console. RX 6600. What resolution do you play at? I would think it would do 1080 pretty good. Maybe check out my video on medium settings. If you're running Farm Sim on low, then I think you could definitely run Farm Sim on my custom medium. Here's the link to that video. I think it would probably run those settings without any issue whatsoever. And you could probably crank those up a little bit more. So those are the exact settings I use on my system that I test maps with respect to low-end testing. And when I say low-end testing, I mean like a mini PC without a graphics card in it. So any graphics card is multiple times over more powerful than integrated graphics with CPU. And I can get pretty decent frames, 40 to 50s typically, on that integrated CPU, GPU at 1080p. And then if I factor in frame gen, that's 80 to 100 frames per second. Very smooth gameplay. It doesn't look too terrible bad. Okay, we definitely have another full load of corn. Take this up there, that'll be 3. Yep, 3 loads of corn. I'll take the balance of that corn up later. I'll take 2 loads of dry corn and 1 load of barley. That should do it. Yeah, I set it to 60 here. Simply because we're streaming also. And I stream at 60. I don't need to play anything greater than 60 here. If I wasn't streaming, I would probably set it to 90. Just to make things a little bit smoother. Well, that's kind of the byproduct of the 4X map being larger. And most things are either at one town or the other. And those towns are kind of at the extremes of the map, the northwest and the extreme south central. Yeah, I'd say those settings that I got linked there, it's probably a medium to medium high. I have no intentions or desire to use the Colossus. I'm not against it, I just don't have any desire to use it. What would you say is its most redeeming factor? Quality. What are the aspects of it that you like? Same with you, Ravenhawk. What do you like about the pack? Oh man. Oh good. Good, poles don't have collisions. I mean, it runs nice and smooth, it's just... It does look better at 90. On another PC, I will play it on 90. And it's definitely much smoother when you do quick pans like this. On 90. So yeah, it's like I don't mind. I don't mind the capacities of the stuff. I don't mind the working speed. I mean, it's play your way, right? I'm just not interested in the extra storage capacity or the if it runs faster. I do sometimes get a kick out of folks who say they like 4x maps or 16x maps, but they also say that they like or only use the fast farming stuff or the stuff with like really big capacities. Because I always felt that that was in counter to the big map. They play on a big map, but they play with machinery that holds 10 times as much or does the job twice as fast. So at the end of the day, they're taking the same, or they're spending the same amount of time doing field work as they would on a standard map with standard equipment. But you're playing, you need to enjoy it. So whatever means you enjoy, by all means, continue. Yeah, just set it to 90, see what you think. If I wasn't creating content, I would probably have it at 90. Yeah, you know, I don't mind that I had to make 3 trips to do 109,000 liters delivery. I don't use auto drive, I don't use course play because, well, when auto drive came out, it was like, I like driving around the map. Why would I want to use something that means I don't have to drive around the map? That's part of what I enjoy. But plenty of others like it. That's fine. I used to use course play a lot, Farm Sim 17. I did a tutorial series on course play in Farm Sim 19. But then halfway through Farm Sim 19, it just was terrible. It wouldn't do anything you wanted it to do. And whatever it did do, it always ran into itself. So I just got frustrated and stopped it. Stopped using it. I'm like, I'm done. Done with your course play. It was a fine run. I know its benefits. It's fine. Alright, we're here for dried corn. And yep, it's over in the other silo. Take a load of dried corn up there. We'll bring a load of barley up there. Then we'll start the production. So I've also got a video up there on the settings I use for this. They're custom very high. I didn't do ultra. I like the headroom that I got with the custom very high settings. Yeah, it's very smooth. I really don't change my settings at all. My Ronco things, I set it and forget it. On ATS, I do a frame cap at 90 FPS. That way when I'm driving down the road signs are a bit clearer. I don't even know what's in the 350 range. What I can tell you is don't get anything with 8 gigs of VRAM. 12 is the new 8. So I wouldn't get anything with less than 12 to 16 gigs of VRAM. I don't know what would be an appreciable upgrade from a 6600. Yeah, I got it. Your current card. Well, AMD's done good. They've provided cards with 16 or more than 8, I should say, for a while. But I just don't know what's in the 350 price range. I feel like that's a difficult price range right now. I know the 5060 has gotten really bad reviews as being a bad value for the money. And you might. I mean, it might be worth looking on the used market. I mean, I sold a 3080 when I got this 4070 Ti Super. And I don't know if I sold that for $350, but a 3080 at $350 I think would be a decent deal. I've never used this company, but I've heard good things about them with respect to used hardware. They're probably a little bit safer than a Rambo eBay seller. What's up, Jack? I fully understand that. Fully understand that. I would first try my settings. Try the video I linked up there. See if that gets you where you want to be or where you're happy. And that's free, right? Free is good. Free is good. But any card acquisition, new or used, should be more than 8 gigs of VRAM. This game isn't on Steam, so I can't pull up the Steam overlay. But I've had the Steam overlay up, the new one, on several other games, and I'm pretty surprised at how much VRAM titles are using these days. That I get to 8 or above 8 on Roadcraft, Baldur's Gate 3, ATS. Like, all these games will use as much as they can get. And if you've ever had, like, the interior of a tractor be blurry, or if you've ever had the textures on the sides of something look blurry, that's because you're running out of VRAM. And the system is not able to pull in the higher resolution texture. And once you start maxing out on VRAM, then you have to start swapping out with regular system memory. That spells a bad day. And really the only way to fix that is to lower your settings until you are no longer running out of that VRAM. I don't know, because I don't have, well, I can look. Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. 53, 55C, 65C. Look, I'm using 10 gigs of no, that's megahertz. There we go, dedicated memory, 9.5 gigs of VRAM right now. On the GPU, that's where 8 gigs, they don't last anymore. Right, she don't last anymore. No, the fans don't run all the time. Your GPU fans should turn off when they get down to like below 50 C. Most GPU fans have a fan curve that stops the fans when they're not doing 3D rendering, or when they're below 50 C, 45 C. I've not had a AMD card, so I don't know what type of application you can use to tweak things. You should be able to install MSI Afterburner. It pretty much works with anything, and MSI Afterburner will let you tweak the fan curve of your cards. I mean, it may be if they're running all the time and they're running hot. Maybe the card needs some cleaning. If you live in a dusty environment, if you've got pets, maybe pet hair's gotten in and clogged the fins up a bit. I had a system that was running warmer. It wasn't running hot, but it was running warmer. A wire had gotten into a fan blade and it was making a horrible racket. So I took the cover off and rerouted the cable. And while I was at it, I wiped down all the intakes, cleaned the filters out and everything. It runs 15C cooler. Just doing a little bit of maintenance on it. Farmer G says his 6800 didn't do zero fan. So maybe the 6600 runs all the time. But Afterburner, or if there's some other AMD card application, maybe you'd be able to modify your curve a bit, take it down a notch. So at 8 gigs, definitely look at my medium settings. The medium settings should help you out a lot. You might be surprised at what that does. I would go and look online for performance reviews of the 7800. It should show benchmarks comparative to maybe some 6000 AMD cards, so you can get a general idea of the difference in performance. Right, nobody's really going to be benchmarking Farm Sim, because typically Farm Sim locks at 60 FPS. I think all the 7800 cards came with 16 gigs. All right, we got everything we need. Art. Making me whiskey. I think Schultz had a 7800 XTX. That's like the big boy. But I also think he's changed things due to some performance or some reliability issues. Typically the advice would probably be to go at least skip a version or skip a cycle, right? So like going from a 66 to a 76 isn't always going to be the good bang for your performance boost. But like a 66 to a 96, I don't even think the 9600 is out, but that would be more of a typical thing. Or on the NVIDIA side, going from a 3000 to a 5000, or a 2000 to a 4000, 2000 to 5000 would be a huge jump. A 4000 to a 5000 is like, no, don't. It's not worth it. Yeah, your case fans probably run continuously. But Farmer G said his card didn't have a 0 fan state. So maybe the maybe some of the 6600s don't have a 0 fan state. Well, David, the answer's always wait. The answer's always wait. If you can wait 6 months, then do it. But the 5000 series in general have gotten horrible rap for performance, for value. There's been lots of videos by tech tubers that talked about the regression of performance gen on gen with respect to the 5000 series. So I think they basically have shown since the 600 series, right? So we went 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000. That's 9 generations of GPUs. In 9 generations, I should say, in 8 generations of GPUs, let's say the 70 series of the new gen was faster than the 80 series of the previous gen. Gen on gen. From like the 600 series to the 4000 series. The 5070 is not faster than the 4080. It's not. So that tells you a lot. Gen on gen performance just isn't there with the 50 series. Now, if you're a couple gens back, then a 50 series is going to give you a heck of a boost. But gen on gen performance is less than it used to be. So I think your buddies down under, Hardware Unboxed, did a really good video, gen on gen. I feel like Gamers Nexus did a gen on gen video. I have no idea on the 9060. I watch videos of several tech tubers pretty consistently. I watch them, their graphics reviews, mostly just the general gist is what's going on. But I am 100% not in any way, shape, or means in that market. If you get a good price on a 40 series card, I don't know what the 4070, what they're running on the used market. Again, you'd want one with 16 gigs. BJ, I can show you my settings because I remember now. They put that in the menus here. I don't have to get out of the game. I mean, the engineering design on the PCB of the 50 series is amazing. What they've accomplished in the space on the board is amazing. But gen-on-gen performance is not there, and that's what people look for, right? Why should I upgrade? If you got a 4000 series, there's no reason to upgrade. Depending on price, if you've got a 3000 series, you may not need to upgrade. If you're still rocking a 1080, congratulations for buying one of the most long-lived viable cards in the world. Oops, wrong thing. So we're running custom 60, resolution scaling 100. I do in-game scaling of 70% because I think the HUD is way too big otherwise. Max draw distance on all of these, 200 is what I'm running. Resolution scale 100. Shader very high, shader rate high. Screen space shading is off. Screen space reflections is very high. Screen space shadows is on. High SAO, high atmosphere, high fog. Cloud shadows, terrain quality high, texture resolution 16. High, lens flare is off. Who wants lens flare? Shadow quality is high, shadow distance quality high, on high, right? Yada yada yada. Yada yada yada. Then we go to, where's the advanced? Or is this the advanced? Yeah, that's what I run. Of course, you have GTX's Ultra, which will kill the frame rate of anything. Because he moves the render distance to some insane rate. But that's for screenshots. I mean, I'm doing pretty darn good running 50s. She's a stuttering. OBS may be smoothing it out for you guys. Oh, now we're down to 30s on his Ultra, but again, that's for screenshots, right? smooth. Smooth operator. FS Farmer, yeah, there's a bug in the initial release of the map. Maybe it got fixed with an update. I don't know. I typically don't update maps once I start playing them. Where the ethanol trigger didn't take propane. So just use the fabulous, easy dev controls to go here to your production point, and you can go to your, so you can run a list, find your ethanol plant, production point 14. So we toggle to production point 14. We set fill level on our input of propane to maximum. Yes, thank you very much. And now when you look at your production for your ethanol, propane is maxed out. Yeah, OBS does those wonders of sometimes smoothing things out, but if I unlock my frames, we're over 100. Let me turn that off. 90 to 100, depending on what we're looking at. Well, that's obviously working the card a bit more. I have less streaming overhead. Michelle, that's exactly what it is. And then from the NVIDIA standpoint, they like to add words like super, which would be a mid-tier between, let's say a 4070 Super is mid-tier between a 70 and an 80 series card. They also use the terminology TI, letter TI, which is also a indication of a mid-tier. So a TI Super is a mid-tier of a mid-tier. They'll probably go back to 10. Or who knows, they'll go to a 10,000. Something silly. I don't own the land on the other side of that bridge, so I use a couple sheds over there, but that's it. AMD uses X and XT to delineate a performance improvement. So there's like a 6600, then there's a 6600 XT, which would perform better by some percent. That's fine. Keeps chat lively. What we're here to do, we're here to hang out. We're just wrapping up though for the night. I do see it's 10:15, so we've been going for a little over 2 hours now. We're at a fine stopping point. We've got our corn harvested. We've got our whiskey started. I've got our dairy running. I fed all the animals earlier, so we can make it way into November at this point. I would probably run AMD if I wasn't making videos, but it's extremely hard to ignore the performance benefit in NVIDIA's favor with respect to Adobe Premiere. Because of the CUDA support. But performance to dollar, that 9800 XT is hard to beat. If all you wanted was gaming performance. If you didn't mind, if you didn't put all your eggs in a frame or a ray tracing basket, right? You're still a little behind on that. Thanks guys for coming out, watching, hanging out with me for the last couple hours here on Judith Plains. Tomorrow night we're gonna be chilling, hanging out, unless of course Giants releases a map, then we'd be working on putting that together and out to you guys. Friday night we're gonna enroll Roadcraft over on our second channel in multiplayer. We're having a fun time with that. We're making our way. There's a link to that. Saturday night we're doing the multiplayer Baldur's Gate 3. We're in Act 4, Act 3, whatever the last act is, the city. Making our way, working through all of that on Tactician and multiplayer. Sunday night, we do our Sunday night convoy. We're still cruising Iowa. think most of us have finished that event. So we'll probably be venturing out of Iowa on Sunday, but it's a good time to hang out and just chat over there. See crazy people driving terribly in American Truck Sim. Then we'll be back here on Monday, hopefully in Farm Sim. Until next time, happy farming.